I come from southeast London and from a working class family. My father worked on the River Thames as a lighterman, and I went to school locally, and I ended up being really interested in subjects like history and English and literature. So of course, for some bizarre reason, I became an accountant. And from then, my career went into finance. So joined the local council as a trainee accountant, and I ended up working in local government for about 17 years. After that, I went into the city, and that's where I really got into project finance, helping organisations with delivering large projects. And most of those were in the public sector, and latterly they were for universities. And in total, I've worked for about 25 universities. And the very last one I worked for was Northampton as the project director on their waterside project. Yeah, so I think in terms of my background, it was quite helpful for some of the attributes I needed to do this particular job. A key one actually being to really try and do your best. It was something that was drummed into me as a kid and through school and through training. And I think that on this particular project, one of the things you have to do is to have a very good sense of knowing what you don't know, because if you try and bluff, you'll very quite quickly get found out. When you're delivering a tangible project, things have to work. The drains have to work, the water has to be there, the IT has to be there. So knowing what you don't know is very important, and that means really getting a team around you. And that ability to collaborate and develop as a team, I think, was fundamental from my background. I often likened the job I was doing to the guy you might have seen on stage spinning plates on the tops of sticks, and running around from one to another as one started to wobble. And if you try and do all of that on your own, you're probably not going to succeed. So actually having a strong team around you and focusing was really important. Yeah, so my career highlights, I think that's an easy one to answer, because I think the highlight was actually acting as the project director for the waterside project. And why was that? It was really because it was a chance to see something through from the beginning through to the very end. In practice, it took, I think it was 7 or 8 years from the initial idea of the waterside project through to actually opening it. And that took us through the whole range of activity, from first of all sitting down with the university and saying, well, what are our options? Should we stay where we are? Should we improve what we've got, or should we move? Through to actually working out some key questions about, well, if we move, can we afford it? Where would we get the money from? What would it look like? And most importantly, how would it benefit the students in the future? And from there, once we actually said yes we could to those questions, it was then getting the site together, buying it, developing it, building out the facilities, and it took, as I say, it took about 7 or 8 years to do that all together. I think the thing that's really come through for me as a non-academic is that, apart from the physical environment, which hopefully people like, is the way that it's helping to transform the university. So what we had before was the university had its different departments and faculties, and each of them had their own building, and each of them had their own space, which other people didn't use. Where we've now gone to a place where the facilities are shared effectively. So it's much more efficient, it's much more modern, it relies a lot more on IT, and I think hopefully the students and the staff get a much better experience from it. So I think actually taking that through from start to finish, for me, was really satisfying, and not something I'd done exclusively on any one job before. I got a letter from Nick Petford, Vice-Chancellor, offering me an honorary fellowship of the university. I was extremely pleased to see that. was a great honour, a privilege. I was really very surprised and very happy. So in doing the job of project director, there was quite a few things that I personally got from it. I got a great deal of pleasure from it. We had a successful outcome, which took a lot of effort from a lot of people, and not just me by any stretch. And I think a great deal of pride, I think, both for me and the university and all of the university colleagues in having achieved such a successful project. I think everybody takes pride in it, and I think the university in particular has to take a lot of credit for taking a great deal of risk in the project. The project, to a lot of people, seemed very ambitious, and it was ambitious, but actually I think for Northampton it's been a tremendous success to be able to transform from what they had before to what they have now, and it reflects very well on them. Words of wisdom to the graduating class. Well, I think enjoy your success, because I've no doubt that you've all deserved it. It's a lot of effort to graduate, and so well done to all of you in achieving that. And I think that the other thing I'd perhaps say is that, as you start, many of you will start your working career, take the skills and knowledge that you've learned at the university and apply them, A, hopefully to do good for society and generally, and B, maybe don't get put off if you have a dream about what sort of career you want to have confidence in your own ability to actually get there. Don't be put off if other people are suggesting it's perhaps not the right thing, or it's too difficult, and best wishes for your future.